Greetings, Earthlings. I am Professor Crowley. I'm here with none other than...
Trixie!
How you doing?
Good.
You good, yeah? Excellent. Today, we've got an exciting one for you.
Oh,
Very
what
exciting.
is it?
We are going to be starting in the world of science.
Science, yes!
Now, science is a very, very vast and quite daunting topic.
What does daunting mean?
Hey Siri,
Uh-huh.
what does daunting mean?
Daunting means seeming difficult to deal with in prospect, intimidating.
Difficult to deal with in prospect, quite intimidating. Today we're going to be starting science, and we've got 3 major science topics to conquer. Today we're going to start physics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be all about the solar system, planets. We're going to learn about what planets are in our solar system, what's at the centre of our solar system, and how we came into being, and also why one of the older planets that used to be a planet when I was a kid is no longer a planet. We're also going to talk about gravity as well, and we might start to think about the possibility that aliens exist. So yeah, that's today's plan. I mean, it's really important, Trixie, that you know that your brain is like a sponge. You know, to suck up all the knowledge. Physics, today, this episode, solar system, space, gravity, and aliens. And yeah, let's get on with it. So we're going to get started with gravity, okay? I would like to ask you a question.
Yeah, what?
If you was to jump up in the air, would you come down again? Why would you land on the ground instead of floating off into space?
Because gravity can pull you down, and there is gravity in the world.
Yeah, and what is gravity? Do you know what that is? We're going to find out. So, gravity is a force, okay? Okay, so
yeah.
Earth has its own gravity. It pulls everything towards the ground, including you.
Yeah, everyone and everything. Like, say that I drop this.
Yeah.
Look, it's in the air.
Yeah.
So now it falls down to the ground.
Exactly. And the thing that's making that fall to the ground is the gravitational pull of the Earth. It's not pushed down from the sky.
It's more of a pull.
It's a pull from the centre of the Earth inwards.
It's kind of like the Earth is pulling you down.
If we didn't have gravity, what would there not be?
Us, food, water, and animals, and houses.
There would be nothing. There would be no life. Everything would fly off into space. There'd be no you, there'd be no me, and there'd be none of you at home watching our amazing videos. There'd be none of you at home to like and subscribe and comment
And hit that notification
And
bell.
hit that notification bell.
And get our merch.
And get our brand new merch that we've linked down below via Teespring and Redbubble for your shopping convenience. We need to think of gravity like the invisible superglue holding our planet together. You can't see it, but it is always there.
Okay.
It's right there.
Oh.
And it's there as well. And it's there. And it's there. Over 300 years ago, there was a scientist called Sir Isaac Newton. And he discovered something one day. There's a story, actually, that goes with this. One day, he was just sitting underneath a tree, you know, like you do 300 years ago, minding his own business. Maybe he was having a picnic, who knows? But he was sat under a tree. And then lo and behold, an apple fell upon and clonked him right on the noggin. Right on the head. Exactly. And he was like, yo, what the hell? What are you doing? That is when Sir Isaac had a moment of realization, an inkling. He thought to himself, why did the apple fall down to the ground and not up or sideways? He realized that a special force, now we know it's called gravity, was acting on every single object on Earth, pulling them towards it, pulling them towards the center of the Earth, not pushing from above, but pulling from below. So when the apple above Sir Isaac Newton's head became too heavy for the little stem to hold it anymore, it fell down and the gravity pulled it towards Earth. It's also important to mention that no matter how heavy something is, it's going to what?
Fall down.
Fall
Like
down.
maybe an apple,
Yeah, as we've seen.
as we've seen, yeah. A bowling ball. And even a feather. Those suckers will still be falling down.
So true. Wise words. So in other words, what goes up must come
Down.
Well done. So you're catching on fast. I think we can all pretty much agree that Sir Isaac was a pretty smart dude. So I have a new question for you, Trixie.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens if you throw something in front of you, or to the left,
Or to the right.
or to the right? What's going to happen?
It will still fall down.
It'll still fall down.
Like,
So Trixie's going to do a quick experiment. What have you got over there, Trixie?
I have the one and only heart bear.
Can you show us? So, in conclusion to Trixie's amazing investigation involving the one and only heart bear, no matter where you throw the heart bear, it's going down. No matter how hard you throw heart bear, no matter which direction you throw heart bear. And heart bear is a metaphor for every object on Earth. He may be the humble, sweet heart bear, but this could just as easily be a guitar, a water bottle, a brick, a feather, a football. So hopefully now you understand a little bit of what gravity is. You understand it more?
Yeah.
It's a force that doesn't push objects down, it pulls objects towards the
center of the ground.
of the Earth.
Of the Earth.
Exactly. So now, Trixie, we're going to move on to learn about the solar system
Ooh, wow, that is so interesting.
and all the planets within it. My question to you is, have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what's up there?
Yep, a lot of times.
And do you have any ideas of what might be out there?
The moon,
The moon? Okay, fantastic.
Venus,
Venus, oh, okay.
Pluto,
Pluto, okay.
of course the sun.
We're going to find out right now. I want you to imagine that we have our own little spaceship
Ooh, wow.
and we can leave the Earth's atmosphere and fly all around the solar system. At the center of our solar system is a big ball of gas, burning ball of gas, and it's called the sun.
Sun.
And all the planets that we're about to talk about revolve around the sun in something called orbit. The sun is actually about 93 million miles away from Earth.
Wow.
So for us, we can still see the sun, but it looks tiny, it looks small. But in actual fact, it's about 1 million Earths. The sun was a jug, okay? You could fit 1 million Earths in there.
Wow.
The sun makes up to around 99% of the mass of our solar system.
99.
If you put every single thing in our solar system, so planets, asteroids, moons, if you put everything within our solar system into a big ball, okay, it would make up to 0.25% of the sun's mass.
The sun is magical.
As we already spoke about Earth's gravity, the sun actually has its own gravity, and that is what keeps all of our planets in the solar system. Without the sun, there would be no heat, there would be no light, yeah. So without light, what on Earth can't grow?
Plants can't grow, grass can't grow, and trees can't grow.
The Earth would freeze and nothing would survive. So I mentioned earlier that the sun is a big burning ball of gas. Those gases are mainly hydrogen and helium.
Hydrogen and helium.
It actually burns at millions of degrees in its center.
Wow.
So we're going to leave the sun alone now for a minute while we go and explore some of the planets in our solar system. Now, as we in our spaceship, the first planet we're going to encounter,
Mercury.
Mercury is actually the smallest planet in our solar system. It's actually only one of 5 planets that you can see from Earth just using your eyes. Yeah. Of course, if you can see it with the naked eye, it's not going to look much like a planet. It's going to look more like a really bright star. It will be the one that you can see really close to the horizon on either sunrise or sunset. And Mercury actually looks kind of similar to our moon.
Oh, does it?
In that it's quite small and it has like a rocky surface and lots of craters in it. Sadly, it has no moon of its own and no air to breathe. I don't think we would like to get out of our spaceship right now and visit Mercury, because it would be boiling hot in the sun and then freezing cold on the other side. Mercury is actually the fastest planet to orbit our sun because it's the closest. It takes less time to go round and round the sun. It takes about 88 days to go around the sun.
I never knew that.
Now Trixie, you already mentioned this planet before. Can you tell me what the second planet from the sun is that we're going to visit now?
Venus.
Venus is actually known as Earth's sister, and that's purely because of the similar size and also that it has a very similar gravity.
Ooh, so you could actually walk on that. That would probably be the next world.
Now, a little fun fact about Venus. Which planet is the hottest?
Mercury.
Mercury. Now, I can see why you would think that, because it's the closest to the sun, right? However, Venus is actually the hottest planet.
What?
Because it has a thick atmosphere that locks in all that heat, whereas Mercury doesn't have that. Venus will be the second brightest object in the night sky. The first would be the moon. The third planet from the sun is a planet that we're all very, very familiar with. It's Earth. And it's known as a Goldilocks planet because it's the one planet that we know of that is not too hot and not too cold and supports life. As far as we know, for a fact right now, Earth is the only planet to have living things. However, what we're going to speak about later just goes to show how crazy that is. Let's just quickly fly by Earth because, that's home. We can go back there and talk about it all day afterwards. So Mars now is the 4th planet from the sun, and it's known as the red planet. So the iron oxide in the soil of Mars gives it that kind of rusty red look. Bigger than Mercury, but it's smaller than Earth and Venus. It's also really cold and rocky, with a thin atmosphere made up of mainly carbon dioxide. It actually has water ice on Mars as well, which scientists are very, very, very interested to investigate for potential life. And it could also be a runner-up for our future planet if everything goes south on Earth, which at the moment it is. So get your suitcases ready. We would need some really special equipment to be able to live on Mars. Mars is the first other planet other than Earth, obviously, that we've visited today that has its own moons. 2 moons, very, very small, and an odd shape. They're a very odd shape. They're not perfectly circular like our moon is. They're just like random rocks flying around. Between Mars and our next planet we're going to look at, there's a big asteroid belt. And scientists believe that Mars's 2 moons probably became trapped from that asteroid belt. Jupiter is our next planet, the 5th planet in the solar system. And it is huge. I mean, really, really big. It's massive. And it's a gas planet. It's a gas giant. It looks like a planet. It's circular, but you wouldn't be able to land there. There's no ground to stand on. Did you know that Jupiter has actually had a really massive storm on its surface that's been around for over 200, possibly 300 years? At night you can probably see Jupiter, and it's probably going to be the highest and 3rd brightest object in the night sky. Jupiter has at least 67 moons that circle around it, and about 55 of those are very, very small, about the size of a mountain. At least 2 of them are about the same size as Mercury.
Yeah?
Yeah. And one of them is the largest in the entire solar system. After Jupiter comes
Saturn!
It's another gas planet. This one's really pretty. It has rings around it. Do you know what those rings are?
What?
They're asteroids. So Saturn's rings are actually made up of many, many, many ice particles and rocks and things like that. It's not actually spinning around like a solid fast object like you would think. They're just floating around in a ring-like formation. And Saturn also has plenty of moons orbiting around it, some of them as big as Mercury as well. Fun fact about Saturn, it's not very dense at all. In theory, if you could find a bathtub big enough to fit Saturn in, it would float on top rather than sink to the bottom. Now, after Saturn comes a planet that I just can't say.
Uranus.
It's another gas giant, but it's much smaller than Saturn and Jupiter. Good thing to know about this planet is it's got a nice lovely blue colour, and that is actually from all the methane gas. And this planet is actually tilted so much on its axis that it actually spins sideways. Yeah, and it also has rings around it, not nearly as many as Saturn, but still has some, with up to 27 known moons. It's covered in blue clouds, made up of methane, which give it its lovely colour, its lovely blue colour. The 8th planet from the Sun now is Neptune. Neptune is another gas giant, and much like our last planet, it also has a nice blue tinge from all the methane. Neptune has about 14 rings that we know about. Because Neptune is so far out into space, it takes a long time to make one full orbit around the Sun. So you know how Earth goes around the Sun? You know how long that takes?
365 days.
Remember Mercury, that only takes about 88 days to go around the Sun? Poor Neptune takes 164 years to go around the Sun once. Neptune has obviously the longest orbit of any planet in the solar system. Now, Trixie earlier on, she mentioned Pluto, and I'm not forgetting it. It's been downgraded from a planet to a dwarf planet. Pluto was discovered in the year 1930, and it was listed as the 9th planet in our solar system. As it was studied longer over time, scientists realized just the extent of how small it really is.
Yeah.
As our way of looking into space improved, we managed to realize that it is really small. It's actually smaller than many other moons out there, and there are actually some other rocky like structures out there as well as Pluto, some of them are actually even bigger than Pluto. In 2006, after about 76 years of being declared as a planet, Pluto lost its credibility as a planet. Pluto was declared a dwarf planet. And there are actually at least 6 dwarf planets within our solar system. You never hear about them. There are possibly many, many more dwarf planets out there. Now for my favourite part, the possibility of alien life. Now, listen. Every star has at least one planet, and there are over 100 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, which is our galaxy, where we live, where our solar system is. There are upwards, so there's probably more than hundreds of billions of galaxies in our universe. Hundreds of billions of galaxies in our universe. Personally, I believe that there has to be life out there other than us, just by the sheer number of planets. Now the question of there being Earth-like planets out there, that is... So in conclusion, in my honest opinion, although we have no hard physical evidence yet for the existence of aliens and extraterrestrials or basically any other life out there except for us humans and the animals that live here on Earth, just by the sheer volume of different galaxies, different universes out there, there has to be more life. Weirder, it would be more odd to suggest that extraterrestrials don't exist, just by the sheer probability. Statistically, they have to be out there. Just like us, they cannot and do not have the means or technology to come and see us, to come and visit, to send messages. If we can't do it, what makes us think that they can? They may be intelligent, but so are we. But why do they have to be more intelligent than us? They don't necessarily have these crazy UFO spaceships that are capable of light speed travel. But that's it for another episode of Trixie's forgotten the name of our YouTube channel.
Crowley Academy.
So that's it for another episode of
Crowley Academy.
That's it for another episode of the Crowley Academy. What's your arm doing?
I don't know.
So that's it for another episode of the Crowley Academy. I hope you enjoyed our little science lesson today. We've got lots more still to come. We've got maths coming up tomorrow. Trixie's favourite, apparently. Although it doesn't look like it right here.
Yes, it is. Right, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment when you've hit that notification bell. And also, comment what colour t-shirt you would like.
Yeah, have a look at our merch that we've linked down below in the description box. We've got 2 different outlets, Redbubble and Teespring, so you can really get the product that you want in the size that you want. It's designed by myself and Trixie. So yeah, anything else to say?
No. Make sure to watch our next video.
Yeah, and all our old ones if you haven't already seen them.
Yeah, if you're new.
This is episode 5.
Is it?
Yeah.
I swear we did episode 5.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, we did.
This is episode 6.
Episode 6.
Pretty sure it's episode 5.
I'm pretty sure it's episode 6.
We'll
We
find
don't
out.
know what episode this is.
I don't even know what day it is.
It's Monday.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's off.
Peace.